Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Copycat Ram. This is Ram and today we are going to do a React.js project. Actually today I am going to replicate a already made to-do list project using the vanilla JavaScript, and that is already created by w3schools.com. So let's first check it out what is happening here. So here you can see that here are the some of the list that is showing over here. Here is the text field, here is the add button. If we type something here, we are able to type, and clicking on the add, as we click on the add button, the items get added to the list and the text fields get blank. They have created all required basic functions that actually we need to manage the to-do list. As well as if we click on any of the item, then we are able to make it strike through and to make it as check, to remark it as that the task already completed. As well as there is a cross button. If we click on it, then we are able to remove the item from the list. Interestingly, you can see here that there is no cross button to remove the item. For that, you can see here that on the clicking of the button, they are creating a span and creating a text node, a special characters, using the special character that is generating the cross symbol and giving the span the closed class. And then here the span have the append child that is text, that is the cross sign that here W3C school generated through the create text node functions, and then appending inside the li. So they are all managing through its JavaScript, but in the React we will simply add it in its HTML, so we will not require to have these functions. Here is the function that is attached to the click event of the close button. So whenever user click on the cross button, then they are targeting the li element and then setting it as display none. But while creating the React.js project, we will not set any element to display none, but instead of that we will use the filter. So clicking on the item, we will filter out the item that has been clicked and we will show the rest of the items. Here is the function that you can see here that clicking on the elements we are able to strike it through, and if we click it again, then we will be able to unstrike again. So this is the toggle function that is being written by W3 School in the vanilla JavaScript. I am going to convert the whole project and the whole functionality to the React.js so that we can understand that how React.js works very differently than the vanilla JavaScript. So let's begin. So here I have set up a very simple project just using npm create react app. And here you can see that all the files like app.css, app.js, and here I have removed all the unnecessary files. So inside the app.js I have written welcome to YouTube channel. Index.js is the normal as it was, and on the browser you can see here the text welcome to YouTube channel. So the first thing that I am going to do is I am going to replicate its UI. So for that I will need the CSS that already has been written by the W3 School. So I am going to copy all the styles from here. I'm going to create a folder called components. Inside the component, I am going to create style.css, and here I am pasting the whole CSS from the W3 schools. Then from here I am going to copy its HTML element, and before that I am going to create a component that will be called todo.js. So as we all know that in the React.js we cannot use class. So instead of a class we need to use the class name attribute. So first I am going to replace this all with the class name. Then I am going to remove id because there is no use of the id. Instead of the id, if we require, then we may use the useref. But right now I'm going to remove all the id. And also we need to import the styles that already we have copied. So let's import that. Let's save it. As well as we need to import to-do component within the app component. So let us import it to do and let's save it. So let's check it out how it's looking. Let me refresh here. Oops, I think some error has happened. Okay, style. So within the JSS we cannot use the style attribute directly. For if we want to use the style attribute, then we need to use it as an object. So here I have to convert it into an style object. So let's do this. That was the margin of 5 pixels. Okay, so we can see that our UI is ready. Okay, so the one thing that is missing is the span with the cross icon. So let's add it too. So for that, as we can see here in the vanilla JavaScript, that they are creating an span and also creating a text node, that is the cross sign, and then appending that text within the span and then span within the li element. So here I am going to directly write the span tag over here and going to give it a class name of close and the x text. So let's check it. Yes, you can see here the cross button that we have. So I am going to remove all other items because we will not need it, because in the JavaScript we will use the map function that will print it accordingly as per the data. So initially we will have only one item. Okay, so to print the listing of the items, I am going to use the map, and as we know that the map only runs for an array. So to print the data, I am going to store all the data inside an array. Okay, so for that I am going to use the useState hooks. So let's do this. So I'm here writing data set data equal to useState, and that will be an array. Okay, so inside the array we will have an object. So what are the things that we are required? So here will be a text, an option, a key to check whether the items is checked or not, and as well as we will need an ID. Why ID? Because clicking on the cross button we will be able to detect the element that each clicked. Means if I clicked on the second item, then we will be able to detect the second item has been clicked only by its ID. So ID of each element going to be unique. So we, for each item we will be have an unique id as unique, so it will be a number, and then we will be have an text, and another key will be there that will be checked, and by default it will be false. So by check we will be able to detect whether it is completed or not. If it's completed, then it will be true, else false. So this is the thing that there it will be. So to have an unique id, I am going to use our date functions. So for that I am going to use new date get time. What it will do, it will have a combination of date and time. So every time when we will click on add button, we will append a new item with an unique id, because this function is going to give us always an unique number. Okay, so I'm going to copy it again so that we have initially two items. Okay, so right now we have generated some dummy data, so let's print it here using the map function. So here I am setting data dot map, and I am here using the arrow functions. Here will be the item as the props. So here will be item dot text. Okay, so let's check it whether it's working or not. So right now you can see that anything and another one, both item has both are displaying over here, but both are right now checked because both have the class name checked. So I am going to set it as a dynamic. So here I will check whether the checked key is true or false. If it's true, then it will have the checked class, else there will be no class. So for that I am going to convert it as an object, and here I am setting item dot checked. If it's true, then we will have the checked class. So let's check. So right now we can see that both items are showing here without this check icon. So let's check it whether it's working or not. So I am setting the first item as true. So let's check it out. Yes, now you can see that the first item is striked out and another one is the normal. So our all condition is working fine over here. As well as let us check whether the items have the unique ID or not. So for that I am going inside the developer tools. So here we are getting an warning like that each element should have an unique key, as well as we are getting an attribute for. So here we are getting an warning that class name have got a value of false. So that means it should not have the false. So here I am going to convert it into ternary operator. So if it's true, then it will be have the checked class, else it will be the blank. As well as another warning there was that it should have the unique key. So let's set the key equal to item dot id, because already we have set here an unique id function. So is for each item we are going to receive an unique id, so I am setting the key as the id. So let's check it again. Let me clear it out. Okay, so it's saying that encoded two children with the same key. Okay, so they are generating the key, but both have the same. So let's check it. It's have 1 to 7 at the end, as well as it also have the 1 to 7 at the end. Don't worry, this issue will be fixed when we will convert it to the dynamic. Let's ignore it for the now. So the next thing is that we need to handle the text inside the field and the add button. So let's do one by one. First, I am going to control the text input field. So let's do that. So for that, I am going to use another useState variable that going to be text set text equal to useState, and that will be a blank string. So to the text field, I am going to set it as value to the text, and as we know that whenever we set an value to the input field, then it should be have a controlled function. So here I am going to set an onchange. An onchange we will call a function to handle its value. So I am going to name the function as handle text. So let us create the function. So here I am using the event props to get the value of the input field. And here what we are going to do, on each keystroke, on each changes, we will set text with the new value that we will receive on every keystroke. So for that, I am going to set here event dot target dot value. So let's check whether it's working or not. Okay, so type something. Yes, it's working. As well as also let's check the variable whether it's updating or not. So you can see here that we have one useState variable that is working fine. As we change the text, it's updating its variable. So we are able to control the input field. Now the next task is to add function to the add button. So on every click, the item will be pushed to the list, and the input text will be set as blank. So let us create another function on click. So on click, I am going to call the function as add handler. So let's create it. Const the first thing that we need to do is that we have to push the item to the data set. Okay, so for that I am here going to set data, and then here I am going to call a callback function, and here I am taking the pref data prop. So pref data is going to return us all the previous data that it already had. So again here I am going to return an array. First we will do that, we will restore all the previous data that it already had. Then here we will add an other items that we have typed inside the text field, and the item will be as the object. Okay, so here I have created an object, and what it will be have, it will be have an ID and text and the checked property. and that will be by default false. Okay, for the id we are going to use the same function, that is the date function, to generate the unique id for each element. So here I am going to paste the same function. For the text, it will be the text variable that we are setting to the input field box. So text is going to be as text, and checked by default going to be false. That's it. So let's check it out whether it's working or not. So let's type something here, something, and let us click on the some add button. So here we have got our new item, as well as you can see here that by default there was 2 items and another item has been added here, and it's have an id, text, and the checked value that has the false. So let us remove all the dummy data that we already have. And another thing is that we need to reset the text field. So for that, again I am going to call set text, and I am going to set it as blank string. So let's check it out. Now initially we have the blank set, we have no data. So let us add one. Yes, now we have the one item in the list, and the text field has been reset. So let's try again. Yeah, it's working. Now the another function that we need to create is that clicking on the item we need to toggle the checked class. So for that we also need to add on click function, and here I am going to create a function check handler, and here I am going to pass the item ID, because through the item ID we will be able to detect the item that is being clicked. As we know, whenever we pass an argument to the function, then while for that we need to set a callback function. So inside the callback function I am setting check handler and setting an argument that is item.id. So let's us create the functions. I am receiving the argument as id. First we will run a loop to check whether the id match with any item set or not. If the id match with any item set, then we will revert the checked value. If it's false, then it will be converted to the true. If it's true, then it will be converted to the false. So let's do that. So first we need to run and loop. So for that I am going to run the map function. And here I am going to write an condition that if item.id equal to id, then item.checked will be reverse of the item dot checked. That means if item dot checked is false, then it will be reverse of that will be true. If it's true, then it will be set to the false. So we all know that map function return an array. So for that I am going to store this array to a new variable that I am going to call it as checked, and at the end we need to return the item here. So after doing all of this thing, we are going to store the new array that we are going to receive after running the map function to the checked variable, and at the end we need to manipulate the set data. So for that, here I am setting the set data value with the checked. So let me refresh it again. So right now we can see here a warning that Okay, so on click spelling I have miswritten, so let's change it again. Clean the console. Now let us add the item. So 1, 2. Now let me click on the 2. Now you can see that the second item is struck through and we have the checked icon over here. We are able to checked, unchecked, checked, unchecked. So all the functions is working very clearly. So the next thing that we need to do is that we should be able to remove the item from the list. So for that we need to add another function on clicking the cross button. So let's add this. So for that, again here I am writing on click handler and going to call and function that will be remove item. So to remove the item we are going to again pass an argument that is items id. So let us create the function. So what we are going to do here, we are going to remove an item. So in the W3 schools we can see that they were setting the item as display none, but here, so instead of setting it as display none, I am going to filter out the item from the list. So what it will do, we will run and filter function. We will identify whether the items have any ID matching with the argument. If it's matched, then we will remove that item from the whole list. So let's do this. So for that, again I am using the data function. So sorry, I am using the data variable. So this data variable have all the listings. So here data dot filter So here I am going to return item.id that is not equal to id. So what this filter function is doing, that this filter function is going to run for each item and it will return the only item that does not have id as the argument we are passing from the here. So as we all know that the filter function always return an array. So again I am going to store this array to a new variable as the filtered item. So this filter item will be an array, a new array without the id that it has matched. So again I am going to use the set data and setting it as the filtered item. So let's check it out. So let me refresh it again. Okay, again I think I have miswritten the on click attribute. Okay, I am not using the new element, so here I am removing it. Let's clear the console. So let's add one item, second item, third item. So let us click on the second item's remove button. So let's see item to check again. So here I'm adding 1, 2, 3, So here I have added the 4 items. So let's click on the cross button whether the function is working or not. Oops, the function is not working because we have the span inside the li, and on the li we already have added an functions as well as on the span too, but the span is inside the li, so clicking on the span it means that we are clicking on the li, so the only li functions are executing, not this span. So the thing is that we can also say that only the parent functions are executing, not the childs. So to stop this, what we can do, we can use the stop propagations function. So let's do that. So for that we need to have the event. So for that we need to have an event props, and we need to pass that event to as an argument. Then again we need to here to accept the event, and then event dot stop propagation, and that's it. So let's check it again. So let me click on the last item. So now you can see that it's working fine. If we check on the components, so let us check it out. So right now we have total 3 items. So let that is checked true. So let me click on the second item. So now you can see that from all the 3 items, the second item has been removed. So all our logics here is working fine. Okay, but wait, there is one error that we need to fix. That, as we can see that we have not written anything over here, but still if we click on the add button, we are able to add the new item. So this should not happen. If the input field is blank, then we should be not able to add as a new item, but instead of that we will show an alert. So let's do it. So here we can see that we have used the add handler. So before doing anything else, first we will write an condition to check if whether the input field is blank or not. So here I'm setting text. Why text? Because this is the variable. We are storing the value of the text field. So if text, then only we will execute the other function. Else we will show an alert that please type something. So let's check it. So let me refresh it. So first let us add one item. Yes, it added successfully. Yes, it added successfully. So let's check with now, as the text field is empty, now we are able to add it on or not. So click on it. So here you can see that we are getting a message that please type something, but no other items has been added. Let's click it out again. So it's all working fine. So hope you have learned many things on this replica projects. If you really liked, please like and comment and share. If you have any question, please write down in the comment. I will try to answer all the things. Thank you.